Pre-emergence weeding in a spring drought caused by warm and strong easterly winds drying the soil out. Have we damaged the spring wheat crop? Morning everybody, Sunday the 30th of March, and just out in a quick field. We managed to come through this earlier in the week and we have weeded it pre-emergence, and I just wanted to share the results with you. So it's produced a lovely tilth, and the wheat seeds are emerging nicely. The issue I have is it's just what it has resulted in is scratched out a load of the flints, and they're all just sitting here on top. Occasionally bigger ones like this, and my concern is that they'll just catch the header at harvest. So what I think we'll wait until the wheat is fully emerged and safe, and then I'll roll it again. I just think those plants are just a little bit too delicate for rolling. Afternoon everybody, it's Tuesday the 1st of April, April Fools, and no foolish nonsense here. So just picking up where we left off last week. So as you can see, the run has come up the side of the main drains where we talked about last week, and actually the guys are over there, and we'll pop in and see them. They're on their last run in this field, and they confirmed that they managed to find both of the main drains here. As you can see, this is quite a significant pile. Quite how we're going to tackle this, I think we're going to leave this. Might roll it down once, but I'm not sure. We might we've had some success with the Culti press elsewhere on last week's drain repair, so I think we might Culti press this and then just leave it for harvest, because of course here, as you might be able to see from out here, but the wheat is germinating quite nicely. You can't quite see the rows. Here you can. If you can see that. See the rows. It's always a little bit difficult when you video stuff, because what you can see with the human eye doesn't always show up on the screen. So I apologise, but looking the other way you can see the rows. So there, hopefully you can see the rows. Really pleased with that. This wheat's coming up, and in fact the drainage contractors were even were quite impressed. They actually showed me this little picture from the side of the trench, where they said that as the trencher runs through the ground, it actually pulls up chunks down the line of the drill furrow, and you can actually see the individual seeds planting and their depth, and seeing the shoots germinate. So I'll take a picture of that to share with you, because it's quite nice. And they were saying how impressed they've been. They have their own farm, and they were saying how impressed with the even germination we've achieved here. So that's a nice compliment. Always nice to get a compliment from a visiting farmer. So here was the hole that I videoed last week, and as you can see now, it's all a bit of a mess. But just to confirm, we ran down the outside of the main drain, and all of the drains they came across, they found that the lateral drains were not tied into the main drain. So I'm hoping this is going to make a real difference. And on a drainage history note, they made the point that actually that behaviour of putting a lateral on above a main drain was actually banned by the ministry. The Ministry of Agriculture used to have a scheme by which they paid for for land to be drained, and under that scheme putting laterals on top of main drains was banned. So obviously that kind of dates when this drainage scheme was put in. I'd actually said in my last video that it's dated in the 80s, but that was my father's recollection, and this might not actually be true, so it might be worth trying to find out when that happened. So we're just climbing over the hedge here. So we repaired this outrun a couple of years ago, and I just see how much water is coming out of this drain now that we've connected the laterals a bit better. There you go. Not massive, but it all counts. So a little bit of water coming out there, and certainly more than was coming out before we started this drainage scheme. Connecting a new lateral drain. So I'm just on my way home, and I thought I'd pop in on this project. We pressed the humps on yesterday, so that was on Monday. Jack has just been out here and mole ploughed, so I'll have a look. We're with a view to, do we roll before we drill, or do we just get here and drill straight away? So as you can see, not much of a ridge now, and it's pulled up a little bit. What's always more interesting, and what we work quite hard with, is this bit, the exit wounds, where the mole plough is pulled out of the ground. Jack and I had a discussion about it this morning about getting the timings right, and he looks like he's done a fantastic job, so well done, Jack. And just going down here, just thought we'd have a look in the hole and see. It's getting very dry on top now, but interestingly, you don't have to go down far to get to moisture. My question will be whether the seedlings can get down into it now without rain. That's pretty soon. We're getting very dry out here. Seems to be the opening comment from people at the moment is, are you asking for rain yet? But I just can't bring myself to do it, not after the last 2 winters. But I'd have to say, I think this is a fine finish. We'll be able to drill this, but I will get Jack to come out here and roll this before we try and drill. Morning everybody, Thursday the 4th of April, and we're just pushing up a compost heap prior to trying to plant this field to beans. So Jack was out here earlier in the week mole ploughing this field, and despite drought conditions elsewhere on the farm, you can still see the cleat marks. So this field is obviously still quite wet, and The moles are actually, they're pretty dry. They set, but interestingly, still sausagey. This field's very interesting. It was significant underperformer. We had it in a CSS scheme under a multi-species sward, and we have consistently applied compost to it. It's been grazed and it's had compost on it, and I had it tested this year and this winter, and actually its all organic matter has gone from 4% to closer to 6.5%. So I'm really pleased with that. Looking across the field, we are looking to plant it to spring beans. We've had quite a lot of success with reincorporating grass swaths where we've planted spring beans, and the nitrogen secreted or available within the roots has helped break down the grass swaths. So that's the plan here. We're going up to that fence in the background. We'll leave that as grazing, but the rest of the field is being planted to beans. So we actually have a dog walking pen up there in the distance, so a secure dog walking facility that stays in place. But overall, it's a bit of a change in feature here. I would probably have liked to have kept it in for longer, but unfortunately we've lost area elsewhere, development land that's no longer available. So the arable section of this field is 10 hectares, and we're looking to trying to mitigate our fixed costs, so hence the 10 hectares is being brought back into production. So enough for this field. Hopefully we'll grab some footage tomorrow of it going into spring beans, but Tom, who's been operating the forklift, he's finished some drain maintenance, so let's just pop over there and have a look on our way home. Afternoon everybody. So a little further down the road, welcome back to the tree shear project, and there you go. Let's have a look in the hole and I'll bring you up to date. Previously, I'll show you a quick picture of where we got to last time. We'd identified the drain, and just at the bend there it had collapsed, and as you can see, what we've done is we've just taken out occasional sections in order that we could clean out the drain, and then we fed through a smaller diameter plastic drain just to maintain the water flow. But as you can see, it's made a nice little channel which could easily take some gravel. So I think we'll come back here with some gravel, just fill in the trench, and maybe that can offer us a bit more drainage, especially as we're pretty close to the tram line here. I wanted to just show you the wheat here. As you can see, we're only probably 200 meters, 250 meters down the road from the field next door, and this is coming up nicely. I'll put the drilling date on the screen, but as you can see, it is hard, as you might be able to hear from the wind. But I'm just going to move a little bit. We are suffering a strong easterly wind and have been for most of the week, and it has really dried the soil up. But the crops that we've established look good, so it'll be interesting to see the difference on the 2 hectares that we had to delay for the drainage scheme. It'll be interesting to see sort of what sort of yield penalty, if any, there was for delaying. But out here it's all looking good, and this was pretty catchy when we drilled it, so I'm very pleased with this result. As I've said before, quite often we learn from unintended experiments. So we will just go up to the corner and just see how the sediment trap that feeds this pipe and we'll find out how that is now draining away. But we haven't jetted it yet, so we'll have a look at that. So this was the ditch that we cleaned out in the winter that was actually overflowing roughly where my vehicle is and discharging into the field. And we'll cut to a picture of this manhole cover, and I think it was taken from about there, so we'll put that in and shows you what it was before we started. Now obviously this is drying out quickly, and this is going to be part of the challenge. We'll need to come back here and clean this out. Not in the best shoes really for this sort of behaviour, but as you can see the drain is now clear. But what worries me slightly is all of this sediment. This could really be do with cleaning out so that that drain can flow cleanly. Morning everybody, it's Saturday morning and a quick update on the swift moth damage. It is much improved this week. I think the sunshine's really helping. As you can see, we still got the barren section in the middle, but it's definitely progressing down. In fact, it doesn't look quite as improved up here, but if you can see down in the middle, it's definitely developing a shade of green. And it's not just my wishful thinking. It is definitely getting better. It's still not as good as the two light land sections either side, but we are making progress.